Okay, so I think we are going to go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us as we launch an overview of Digexin, an incredible ingredient, which is a partnership of Next and Freemen Nutra. So a little bit about this partnership. We are leveraging the development that Next has provided. They have created Digexin, and then we're utilizing the customer relationship and supply chain power of Freemen Nutra. So it is the partnership of these two companies that are bringing you Digexin. A little bit more about Freemen Nutra. We are incredibly excited to be launching our new brand, Freemen Nutra, as part of the introduction of Digexin. I am also Mary Becker, the Director of Marketing at Freemen Nutra. You know us as Shanghai Freemen. For over 27 years, we've brought you trusted ingredients along with reliable market intelligence. As we continue to grow and expand, we are adding to our portfolio by including premix solutions, as well as innovative and branded ingredients like Digexin to our portfolio. These new ingredients and services will allow us to bring more value to you, our customers, and increases our global presence. So we wanted our name to reflect that. We can't wait to share more with you at Supply Side West in a few weeks. So about Digexin. In this session, we'll give you a market overview showing why now more than ever, there's such a need for an ingredient like Digexin, which will aid in digestion as well as mood. So we'll talk more about that. Then we're going to discuss and show you what Digexin does and how it works, and show how this ingredient can be utilized in your brands. And then finally, we'll dig into the science and show you validation from the trials, showing how Digexin can make a difference for consumers in only 7 days, which is exciting. So without further delay, I'm going to turn things over to our experts, and we'll start with Eric Withy, the Director of Innovation or of Ingredient Innovation at Freemen Nutra. Eric?
Perfect. Thank you, Mary. Hi, everyone. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. As Mary mentioned, my name is Eric Withy. I'm the Director of Ingredient Innovations at Shanghai Freemen, soon to be Freemen Nutra. And we are very excited to be bringing you Digexin as one of our first proprietary ingredients as we kick off this new division. I'll start section 1, the market, something to digest. So we need to make sure that, there's a market out there. Wanted to do that evaluation. And as we've gone through, we wanted to kind of share our findings with you. So first off, the problem. Every solution needs a problem. And so right now in the US, GI disorders are extremely common, way more common than I had anticipated. So around 40% of US adults suffer from some type of GI disorder. And of those, approximately 2/3, or what would be about 1 in 4 US adults, suffer from chronic fluctuating symptoms. So symptoms that maybe come back, go away, come back, but they're kind of there all the time. So that's, 1 in 4, about 50 million US adults. That's a very broad swath of people. Also, just to kind of point out, that's interesting, the common medical nomenclature is disorder of the gut-brain interaction. And so even now, the medical community at large really recognizes the interplay between the gut-brain axis. So there's a lot of interplay between first your gut and your brain, but then also between your gut-brain axis and the quality of life that you have. So The gut and the brain are in constant communication. They share kind of a reciprocal relationship where each one is able to affect the other and modify an effect. For example, the emotional stress and anxiety can cause someone to become constipated, but then also conversely, suffering from constipation, especially over time, can cause emotional stress and anxiety. So we see one is able to kind of cause the other, but then also, the former is able to also cause the latter. So there's a strong interplay there. We also see a similar interplay between the gut-brain axis and quality of life measures. So there's a very big interplay here. If somebody has trouble with GI health or mood stress, we see that it has a very large impact on quality of life. And there's also a similar interplay. So for example, anxiety or constipation can cause someone to become socially isolated. And then again, conversely, social isolation often presents as constipation and or anxiety. So what are these quality of life outcomes, you may be asking? So quality of life outcomes often fit into a few categories here. Sometimes they kind of change around, but they're usually something around social interaction, physical discomfort, the amount of activity and exercise someone gets, and sleep quality and their satisfaction with their life. And so I point this out, this relationship, because it shows that when addressing either GI health or mood and stress or quality of life, it's important to specifically address the others, if not at least monitor them, because if you fail to improve one of them, it's very common that the patient is able to kind of backslide into the old symptoms. So let's hop into market size. So, we want to make sure that when we're bringing an ingredient into market, that there's room for it, or that it's a large enough market. And so within the health supplement category, at least, I'd like to show you some information on two different benefit-focused categories. So the first is the GI and digestive health market, and the second is the mood and brain health market. And so the first is, a very good size, $15 to $18 billion per year, depending on who you ask, and growth rate of around 6 to 8%. So, respectable, but not jumping off the page. And for the mood brain health market, we see that it's much smaller, 6 to 8 billion, but that it's at least right now growing at a much faster clip. So, the mood brain health market is probably around where the digestive health market was, say, 7, 8 years ago. So really overall, what we see are two healthy, active categories that really both of them have some room to grow. So in each one of these, what are the top ingredients? So what's actually selling into these right now? So for digestive aids and enzymes, we see it in both the mass market retail and natural retail. And the breakdown, and really the first thing that jumps out here is probiotics. So for the mass market, they're 70%. For natural retail, they're 75%. And we also see a lot of fibers on there with fiber and psyllium. And so when you add it up, really in this market, if you just take fibers and probiotics, that is around 80% of the market. So we really see a market dominated by two ingredients. I think what that says is that there's a lot of room for innovation here. It's a market that is looking for some alternative solutions. And now for the kind of mood, stress, mental health market, we kind of see the exact opposites. So the top two ingredients are combination of some sort. So there's the combination herbs at 17%, multivitamins at about 12%, And so the combinations are about 30 overall. And then we see actually the largest portion is just other ingredients, and that's almost 40%. So really here, it's looking like it's an early market. There's a lot of players, a lot of different ingredients kind of trying to jockey for space. And so this is a good time to be able to get in, and people are looking right now. People are wanting new things, and so innovation is already happening, and it's very open to that. So as we kind of looked over the markets, consumer markets, the benefit markets, we came away with some key findings that we'd like to share with you. So first, GI disorders are omnipresent in the United States, and they are in fact a very high impact problem. So outside of just affecting broad swaths of the population, they also play a huge role in people's daily lives and their quality of life, how they're just kind of getting by. So second, there are not a lot of supplement options outside there besides probiotics and fiber. So probiotics often they kind of depend on what your current microbiome is. Fibers come with some different challenges themselves, some side effects, and so these are two very good ingredients. I like probiotics and fiber. Some of my best friends are probiotics and fiber, but people are trying to look a little bit elsewhere for solutions or something to add on top of probiotics and fiber. Third, what we find is that consumers are growing very aware of and kind of seeking out cross-condition benefits. So this is especially true for gut health. They're aware of the gut-brain axis. That's starting to become more commonplace in the vernacular, and especially with gut health, we see consumers looking for gut health and immunity, gut health and weight, and it's a little more difficult to get just a straight like gut health product to market. And what I'd like to also point out with this is that marketing across two different conditions, really you really need claim language for that. It's difficult to kind of wink and nod across two different benefit categories. And last, the innovation in platforms. So we're seeing that people are looking at innovation that becomes integrated into their daily lives. So, overall, they're looking for their foods that are more functional, and they're looking for supplements that don't look like medicine. So this is an area that continues to innovate and kind of bring new products and platforms and ways of delivering health. So what we see that is needed is a gut health ingredient that supports calm, complete digestion and evacuation. I mean, this is really the linchpin. Obviously, if you're going to have a gut health product, it needs to help with gut health. But two, it should also have maybe a calming or uplifting effect, something that shows that it's working through the gut-brain axis and has that gut and component to it. And last, it needs to have tangible benefits to the person's quality of life, to their well-being. So these impacts on quality of life, on how people feel day to day, these really bring consumers back. When they feel better, when they're happier, more uplifted, they come back and buy more of that product. And so you know what? Actually, you're not going to believe this, but we actually have something that meets all three of these criteria. Digexin. So with section 2, I'd like to kind of jump into Digexin, let you guys know a little bit more about its benefits and the research associated with it. So first, what is Digexin? It's a proprietary herbal extract of tender okra pods and winter cherry. And the benefits of Digexin really fall kind of into two main categories, the digestive and also the mood stress. But then what we see is the secondary benefits of quality of life. We've been able to measure and see that it does actually have those downstream impact on people's kind of daily lives. So for digestive, we see that Digexin improves regularity, provides relief from constipation symptoms, which this was really the primary focus, but also improves other GI issues like reflux and diarrhea and indigestion. For the mood and stress, we see an improved stress response, lower cortisol, less perceived stress, a better outlook with higher serotonin, and higher kind of satisfaction. And though it's a little bit of a chicken or the egg question, we also see improved sleep. So improved sleep could be helping the stress response, or it could be that the stress response is helping the improve sleep. But either way, we see that that is a benefit of Digexin. And lastly, those downstream quality of life benefits. So there are just higher quality of life reports. So people reporting, more satisfaction with their lives, less worry and concern. Also, because a big quality of life issue is just discomfort, both physical and psychosocial. And we see that Digexin, has benefits for both of these. And how Digexin works. So Digexin kind of works through 4 different mechanisms. First, we see that it increases peristalsis, which is kind of movement through the digestive tract. So this speeds food transit and aids complete evacuation. Second, it has adaptogenic functions and lowers cortisol. So this helps people respond to stress in a healthy way. It helps them feel less worried, less concerned, and just kind of allows them to address the day in a better way. Next, Digexin soothes the gut lining and hydrates stools for complete transit and evacuation. So just kind of helping moving everything through. This kind of decreases discomfort. And last, Digexin increases serotonin. So this, of course, improves mood, but also restful sleep and an overall sense of well-being. And of course, you may be asking, how do we know these things? So we've gone through plenty of testing, done the safety testing. There's also been a couple of preclinical proof of concept studies, and then the human clinical blinded randomized controlled trial. The first one has been completed. So we'll jump in and let you know a little more about the human clinical. So its design is double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled, so kind of the gold standard for research studies. Started by screening 55 subjects. These subjects were, just so you know, the age and gender, males and females, 25 to 60 years old, and they needed to meet the Rome-3 criteria for constipation. So needed to have some sort of issue that we were trying to fix. So of those 55, 48 made it through, and they were randomized into 3 different arms. A placebo group, a 300 milligrams per day of Digexin, and a 500 milligrams per day. And then each person gave outcome measures, provided information on day 1 or baseline, day 7, and day 14. For the outcome measures, The primary outcome measure was the patient assessment of constipation symptoms. It was a questionnaire. This questionnaire is validated. It's one that's been used in multiple other studies, and is often just referred to as PAC-SIM. For the secondary outcome measures, had the patient assessment of constipation quality of life, or PAC-QOL, the SF-36, the GI symptoms rating scale, measured the number of complete spontaneous bowel movements. Spontaneous as in like unforced, not spontaneous as in you're driving in your car. The LEADS sleep evaluation questionnaire, perceived stress scale, and we also took some serum biomarkers to get those objective measures. So the results. I do have to say the results were actually fantastic. They turned out great. For the PAC-SIM, the total score, as you can see, just drastically reduced the symptoms of constipation. It was statistically significant both at 7 and 14 days at both doses. But we also see that this was the total score that each subcategory, so abdominal, rectal, and stool, were also significantly lower at both doses at both 7 and 14 days. And the significance was less than, P was less than 0.001. For the PAC-QOL, we saw very similar results where, although it was only taken at 14 days, the global total was significant, less than 0.001, and as well as each of the subcategories. So physical discomfort, psychosocial discomfort, satisfaction, and worry and concern. We saw huge impacts from Digexin in each one of these categories. I also want to take a second to point out, in case anybody was wondering, the significance that I'm referring to here was based off of the change compared to placebo. So this isn't just from baseline to when you're taking the measurement, which, that doesn't account for any type of placebo effect. These are all compared to placebo. For the SF-36, we didn't see great results here for just kind of general health. Saw no impact. We saw a couple benefits in energy and fatigue or physical functioning. Although it is, we believe that it's probably the SF-36, it takes a little bit longer for benefits to show up on this. It's a little bit more of a long-term type of questionnaire. So, we would think that if this were measured, maybe a month or two down the road, people taking Digexin, that at that time we would start seeing those benefits. So kind of for the constipation outcomes, the GI symptom rating scale, we saw significant results at both doses, at both 7 and 14 days, as well as all the kind of subcategories or other categories, I guess in this case. Abdominal pain, diarrhea, indigestion, and reflux, they were all significantly lower at 14 days, less than 0.001, and for the 300 grams, significantly lower at 7 days at less than 0.05, and at 500, less than 0.001. So we see that the benefits are kind of extend further than just constipation, that this also helps kind of the complete digestive tract. And we also measured that through the number of complete spontaneous BNs. And so what we see is at baseline for both groups, they're kind of right at that, like 3 per week, which is the kind of the definition of constipation. And within 2 weeks, up right around 6 or 7. And so that's, the definition of kind of normal, healthy digestion. So within 2 weeks, basically overall, on average, got rid of constipation. And now for a couple of the kind of secondary or kind of mood stress outcomes, we saw significant improvements in sleep quality. So not only for just sleep quality, but all of the other categories or subcategories. So how often people awaken, their behavior after they wake up, basically, can they get back to sleep? And also just getting to sleep in the first place. So each of these was significantly lower at both doses at both time points. So within 7 days, Digexin helped people get a better night's sleep. And we see the same or something similar with the perceived stress scale, so people's reported stress. There was a marked reduction from baseline, even at 7 days, and then even further at 14 days. So the amount of stress that people were under, and this may be because they're maybe sleeping better, maybe it's because they don't have these GI issues that are creating stress. It could just be, the lower cortisol overall, but we see that there really is a marked reduction in the amount of stress that people have. And lastly, we did take some blood biomarkers. So we think that these are important because they show that it really backs up, I guess, that data that we have from the questionnaires. So these show that this wasn't just how people felt in their mind, that there were real, true physiological changes going on, and that Digexin brings physiological change that benefits the body. So there was an increase in gastrin. So gastrin, of course, is that hormone that stimulates peristalsis and the secretion of digestive mucus and enzymes. And so the higher levels here show a better readiness by the digestive tract to do its job, to get ready and move things through. The lower cortisol is, of course, the kind of stress hormone. And so a reduction here shows a reduction in that unnecessary and excessive stress that people may be under. And last, a large increase in serotonin. So, serotonin is, of course, your happy neurotransmitter, but it plays a lot of roles in the body. And this is one of the kind of main mechanisms by which Digexin works. One of the other things that serotonin does is it stimulates your digestive tract. It stimulates peristalsis. And so by increasing serotonin in the gut and in the bloodstream, that really helps stimulate the body in a natural way to move the food through, to move that through. And so we see that serotonin has those benefits for GI, as well as, of course, the well-known benefits for mood and outlook. So from the human clinical, some of the key takeaways, I think one of the great things is that Digexin is effective in 7 days. So your customers won't need to wait around for a month. You won't have to say, please buy that second bottle. Then you'll see the results. They'll know it likely within 7 days, and for sure by 14. So it also significantly reduced constipation. So it does exactly what we wanted it to do. And then secondarily, it also improves sleep and reduces stress, and has that improved quality of life that is measurable. And last, the objective biomarkers really back up the data, really show that physiological change. So, having the serotonin, cortisol, and gastrin biomarkers really backs up all of the other evidence. We also had a couple of kind of preclinical or proof of concept studies, because we didn't jump just straight into a human clinical. And so I think that these are informative around mechanism and around some of the same data kind of backing that up. So in the first study, this was a very early one. It was a ileum tissue stimulation. So essentially just stimulating some ileum tissue to it would essentially reproduce peristalsis. And so what we saw here is that Digexin really is a synergistic combination. So they took both of the two extracts that make it up, the tender okra pods and winter cherry, and the amount it took for one of the extracts was around 19. The amount it took for one of the other extracts to stimulate peristalsis was around 24. But when we combined them together into Digexin, it took less than either of the other two on their own. So the two ingredients really do work together to give you benefits. And then we also did a preclinical animal study. And what we saw was a lot of the same benefits from the human clinical. So improved regularity, improved digestion, things were kind of moving through at a better clip. And we also saw that increase in serotonin and also that decrease in cortisol. So this is where I think we really got excited and knew that we were onto something. And just want to touch upon it briefly, but want to let everybody know that the full gamut of safety studies have been performed. So toxicity, irritation, mutagenicity, these have all been performed, and we see no concerns with safety at all. And also, each one of these tests was completed according to OECD test methods. So from this additional research, some of the key points to kind of take away is, first, Digexin is safe. Second, that this really is a synergistic combination between the two ingredients, and they together enhance GI peristaltic movement. They again reduce cortisol and increase serotonin. And one of the things that was pointed out in the reports is that it really truly seems to promote that crosstalk between the central nervous system and the GI tract, or what we would all think of as the gut-brain axis. And so for section 3, I'd like to turn it over to my colleague, Eric Anderson, and he'll kind of take you the rest of the way. So thank you very much.
And sorry to interrupt, Eric. I just wanted to mention that if any of the attendees have a question, you can enter those at the bottom of your screen anonymously, and we'll be sure to take care of all those questions at the end of the session. All right, now on to Eric Anderson. Sorry about that.
No worries. Thank you so much, Eric. Excellent presentation. The Digexin product is the second product that we are offering from Next USA. We're very excited to be offering this with our friends at Freemen Nutra. Sorry, hang on just one second. There we go. We're very excited to offer this with Freemen Nutra to leverage their strength in the marketplace to bring this exciting new technology. At Next, the requirement we have for product development is one that it's a serious product. We want to address real health issues. We want to develop products that can help people improve their quality of life over time and with real results, and hopefully experiential results. There are certain supplements that we take on faith, multivites, but clearly we're looking for outcomes that the consumer can experience. So let's get started with some basic details. As Eric shared with us in the studies, the researchers designed 2 doses. The low dose was 300 milligram and the high dose was 500 milligram. And this is compared to placebo or a sugar pill. And what we're trying to do there is show a difference. The placebo should have a far smaller change on the variety of measurements that are part of the study. And the difference between the two is how you establish your statistical significance, which then is recognized by researchers and scientists as having had an effect. We looked at two different doses for two reasons. One, to see a dose response. If you take 500 milligrams, do you get a better outcome than at 300 milligrams? And in fact, we did. The nice thing is, if you go back to what Eric just presented, looking at the p-values, what is a p-value? P.05. That means it's a level of confidence. If you ran the study again, 95 times out of 100, you get the exact same response. So it's quite powerful, and many of the measurements came in at P.01, so extremely significant. We saw that there was a larger benefit at the 500 milligrams, but 300 milligrams was effective as well. So this allows the formulator some leeway in how they want to label the product in terms of what dose to use and how many times per day. We're looking at a variety of delivery mechanisms. Excuse me. The product is an extract of water, the okra is a water extract, and also a water and alcohol extract of the winter cherry. So this will work quite nicely in the most common 2-piece hard gel capsules, in tablets. We are working on developing gummies, which is of course a very fast growing area of delivery in the product. Very good for powders and stick packs, where you're going to take a scoop of a powder, dump it into water, and give it a good shake. And particularly with shakes that are like protein powders, they tend to be a little chunky. So adding that 300 milligrams is not going to impact the organoleptic concerns. Probably not good for a ready-to-drink beverage because we have alcohol-soluble actives, and those will separate in the water, and it just won't look nice sitting on the shelf in an RTD. Some of the attributes, as this is a plant-based product, vegan, vegetarian friendly, non-GMO project.org certified, is in process, we should finish any day. Clearly sustainably sourced, and then with all of the certifications that are necessary to bring a product to market: kosher, halal, free of allergens, natural, and most importantly is that it's validated through clinical research. So on the label, this would be a proprietary blend. So on the nutrition facts panel below the required content of your mineral content, fat, sugars, et cetera, then you have a medium thick line, and below that go the other ingredients. So on there, we would label it as Digexin, a proprietary blend of Withania somnifera and Abelmoschus esculentus fruit extracts. That's what goes in the supplement facts panel. We require at least 300 milligrams as a minimum serving. We want to make sure that the consumer experience the benefit. And so we want to make sure that there's a dose that has been clinically validated. The structure function claims are very similar to the benefit statements, supporting digestive health, helping to hydrate the GI tract, soothing the epithelial cells, improving the moisture content of stools. I think very importantly, especially for folks that don't do well with the bulking fibers, that we're not initiating bloating or some of the other not so wonderful side effects that fibers can have as they go through the system. But by promoting peristalsis, by increasing the speed of digestion, we're also helping to remove discomfort. And at the end of the day, the consumer is looking for a great experience that they can benefit throughout the course of the day, throughout the course of weeks. The secondary, very nice benefit of boosting serotonin levels and keeping cortisol levels lower is more relaxation, better sleep, less stress. I think all of us can benefit from that, especially after the last couple of years of craziness that we've all experienced. Of course, these are suggested or example structure function claims. The company that's putting the brand product on the shelf is responsible for the structure function claims on label. Please review this with counsel. So what is the biggest factor in getting the reorder, getting the customer to continue to use the product, continue to benefit from it? And that's clearly that it is experiential. So if we can make a promise to the customer that by using this product at 7 days, you're going to feel significantly improved physical functionality, and you get the benefit of the mood and the stress. So when I go to my favorite store, Costco, you know, they have a supplement section. And it's quite amazing the length of the offerings that are in the digestive section. You have a bunch of fiber products on one end, and on the other side, a number of probiotic products. But there's really nothing in the middle. What that tells me, that number of offerings, that there's clearly a consumer that's looking for benefit. And the variety of offerings suggests that there's clearly a consumer that's not getting the benefit that they really want. Our products have traditionally been herbal based at Next, and so we're bringing an herbal product to the market that fits in a different niche. I think it complements nicely folks that are using probiotics, and for the folks that are really having struggles with regularity, with digestion, this is something that gives them an alternative to some of the products that, you know, don't have the nicest side effects. Again, what's nice, experiential, within 7 days, the consumer can experience the benefit. And that 7 days was the first time point where the different analysis were run. Anecdotally, people are seeing benefits a little bit quicker than that, but I think a 7-day claim is really quite safe, and we are confident in that. So let's look at the target audiences, and this is a breakdown of what groups of consumers are likely to embrace Digexin. We saw from early in the presentation that really a surprising number of Americans have digestive problems. So how would we break this down? Quite a broad audience, but specifically we can target folks that are having these issues. Eric talked a lot about the link between the gut-brain and how stress can induce constipation, and constipation certainly can induce stress and discomfort. So looking at the persistent problems, predominantly women aged 35 to 60 and actually beyond, lower to upper middle class, and probably already taking a supplement, but looking for something that can complement that supplement and can add the additional benefits of stress and worry being relieved. The wellness warrior, in this case, males and females who are likely middle to upper class, that meets the SES of supplement consumers. External stress, work and family and finances and the commute to the office can really lead to stress that induces GI issues. So these folks are health seekers. They're looking in the health space. They're looking for activities, yoga, meditation, exercise, looking for that extra advantage. And finally, the adventurous ager. Unfortunately, as we age, and particularly for women, digestive problems occur and impact a significant portion of the population. This group is much more likely to take their doctor's advice solely. They're not always looking out for alternatives until they realize that the drugs they're giving and maybe the products that are on the shelf that have been around for a while that just aren't working, and they're now looking for something different. And so as we can educate our brand customers and educate industry through earned media articles and in industry publications, we can bring awareness of this new product to market and help our consumers find the benefits that they desire. So in formulation, a single ingredient Digexin product is quite desirable in our humble opinion, but clearly the brands are going to want to have formulations that are a little bit unique, a little bit different, allowing them to better position their product specifically towards their target audience. Looking at digestion things like turmeric helping to balance healthy inflammation levels, licorice root, things that are keying off of the mood and wellness like L-theanine and theobromine, quite nice, well-established adaptogens like rhodiola. And then in the middle are products that can help for both 5-HTP, a precursor to serotonin. Probiotics clearly are used very, very broadly. Things like magnesium. So we're certain that our customers will find many different ideas to have complementary products targeting the consumer's benefits. So what's next? We like to see a preponderance of evidence. As Eric shared, we have the in vivo in a living thing. We have those studies established. And we have then moved to in vivo in humans, human clinical studies. Clinical means that you have a human involved. And that study was nicely statistically significant. We also have anecdotal evidence and a human pilot study. We see consistently that these benefits are being realized. However, we are in an environment where folks are saying, oh, hey, have you validated this? You know, whether it's your customer or our friends at FDA and FTC, do you have the data in hand to prove this? So we're building upon that. We're adding more to it. The second study is quite large, 150 participants, currently underway. And this will, again, validate the benefits on a much larger scale. We're looking for marketing partners for brands. As an ingredient supplier, it's hard to touch the consumer. Our brand partners, they touch the retailer who educates the consumer. Many cases, they're selling direct to consumer, either via online or off their websites. The customers have the ability to tell the story, to put the claims on the bottle that can tell the consumer exactly what they're looking for. And this is a very valuable partnership for us. So we want to provide as many tools as possible for the brands. So we have now, of course, the clinical research. We have diagrams. I like the factor of 4 mechanism image, for example. We have those images available. We have animations that can be posted on the website, on YouTube, wherever it's desirable. And we're continuing to build this marketing collateral. So when the customer goes to the market, begins to develop a product, we're going to have as many tools as possible to assist in that process. And let's open it for questions, please. Anything that that is interesting, we would love to try to answer for you.
Yes, so there's a couple questions so far, and please, if anybody has some more, feel free to list them. So one of the first questions was, are there any off flavors? So there is likely to be a little bit of off flavors, but nothing that isn't fairly easily insurmountable. We currently have some samples with a partner flavor house / formulation house that we're hoping to find some easy solutions right off the bat and information that we can share with our customers. Is the study, are we able to see the study? It's been in the peer review process for about a month now. And as we know, we always hope that those things go faster than they do, but we're expecting it to be out really any day now.
So the reason that we share the study under confidentiality is if the data becomes present in the public domain, it harms the ability to publish. The data has already been presented. The journal wants the ability to present the data. But so, yes, we can share it under confidentiality.
And when is this commercially available? A little bit of a lead time right now, but I think you could place an order whenever. We don't have any just sitting right in stock right now, but we should be good to go within a couple months. So Will you be at supply side? Yes, so we will be at supply side, Freeman and next. So we'll be in booth number 7111. So pretty easy to remember, 7 and then 3 ones. And if anybody would like to schedule some time, we would, you can go ahead and shoot us an email and we'll get something scheduled. The cost per kilo, we are, if you would like to discuss some cost per kilo, we want to discuss, where it'll be open to, how many kilos, that type of thing. So we'd be more than happy to have those conversations if you can just shoot us an email. And actually, I'll pull back up that first slide because it had our email addresses on it, in case anybody wants to take those down. All right, there we go. Can we ask for samples from our account manager? Yes, we do have some samples, so people can start playing around with it, seeing how it works for their particular formulations. And I think that, any stability done in gummies or tablet. Not in gummies yet, as regular stability testing has, been done and is in the process of still being completed. So, but in tablet, I'm not sure. Eric, do you know?
No, we're listing 18 months shelf life right now. We have real-time stability and accelerated stability ongoing. Product seems to be quite stable. We don't know that there's any negative interactions with other ingredients. Some of the ingredient combinations that we suggested are likely very fine, but we will absolutely offer to test if anyone has a new product and they would like to confirm the compatibility. We can go ahead and ship a blend of the finished product to our R&D group to have them test it and validate it. We're starting to work with gummies now. Gummies are so very popular. So we're looking at pectin and gelatin gummies and trying to understand, what impact the moisture content will have, and also the process, when temperature is involved, when the vitamin pack is added. Homogeneity is also an issue, but this work is ongoing. Homogeneity in gummies is a difficult thing for the manufacturers. So we need to go through and do that work.
All right, so if there are no other questions, and look at that, 57 after, so we're like right on time. We nailed it. So just want to thank everybody again for showing up. We'll leave this slide up for a few more minutes in case anybody wants to take down email addresses. And other than that, we thank you for your time.
Thank you, folks. Look forward to talking to you about this.